Hi guys, this is organic nomenclature and we are naming ethers. Ethers have a general formula of ROR or it could be ROR dash if the R groups are different. And in terms of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, this would be CnH2n plus 1 bonded to oxygen bonded to another CnH2n plus 1. So these are two separate R groups. So they can be same, they can be different. So in order to name the ether, the shorter carbon chain would be considered as the substitute group and the longer carbon chain would be considered as the parent alkane. So in the following examples, we can have both the R groups having the same length and both R groups having different lengths. So CH3O, CH3, we can have CH3, CH2O, CH3, we can have CH3, CH2O, CH2 and CH3. We can also have CH3, CH2O, CH2, CH2, CH3, so on and so forth. So the first thing we need to do is identify the shorter carbon chain. So in the first example, there is no shorter carbon chain, so only any of them, the one on the left and the one on the right, can be considered as the substitute group, and the other the parent alkane. In the second example, the carbon chain on the right has one carbon, so that is the substitute group. In the third example, either of them can be the substitute group because they're of equal length. In the fourth example, the carbon chain on the left has lesser number of carbon atoms, so it is a shorter chain, so it will be the substitute group. So naming of ethers is done by calling the substitute group as methyl. In the case of CH3, added to oxygen will be called methoxy. This will be called methoxy, and the parent compound would be called the name of the parent alkane. One carbon would be methane. In the second example, it would be methoxy, and the parent compound having two carbon atoms would be called ethane. In the third example, it would be called ethoxy because there are two carbon atoms in the substitute group and two carbon atoms in the parent chain, so it will be called ethoxyethane. In the fourth one, we have two carbon atoms in the shorter chain, so it will be called ethoxy, and we have three carbon atoms in the parent chain, so this will be called propane. In another example, if we have three carbon atoms on each side, CH3, CH2, CH2O, and again CH2, CH2, and CH3, we would have any of them being called the substitute group. So the name of the compound would be propoxy for the substitute group and propane for the parent compound. Now the general formula of ethers is ROR, and the general formula of alcohols is ROH. If we look at their molecular formulae, if the number of carbon atoms is the same, the molecular formula of ethers and alcohols would also be the same. So this is how ethers are named.